Hi everyone, I'm Julianne Now, and you're listening to the Lady Now Show, where I feature conscious conversations about health, life, love, cannabis, yoga, spirituality, women's empowerment, and so much more. I believe a holistic life starts from the inside and is reflected like a movie projector out into your outside world. This is also a space where it's like having your best friend answer all your questions while sharing her best insights all in one. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you want more free content, mentoring options, or just to reach out and say hi, head to my website at ladynow.com.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday to the Lady Now Show. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave a review so I know exactly how you feel about each episode. Also, you can reach out to me, info at ladynow.com, and please let me know of any ideas you have for episodes, any questions you may have, or if you'd like to be featured.
Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Julianne.
Oh, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy that we could set up a time together so I could have you on the podcast show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
So the show's all about heart healing and different ways of healing or doing things or living this new way of living life that's outside of, I guess, the norm. And I wanted to have you on so we could talk about a lot of topics such as the moon, the dancing that you offer, your lifestyle, even just like your beliefs and the way you live from the heart and how that looks. Maybe we can just get started by you explaining how you first got introduced to the dance style that you now teach. What's your background and story and connection with that?
Sure, yeah. So I was teaching yoga and I've always had a passion for dance. And I was wanting to continue to learn movement, but in a different way, maybe in a way that offered a little more freedom and a little more expression. So there were different types of dance coming to me, but it was when I landed on the Five Rhythms webpage that I really felt like this is my dance home. This is what I want to do. And I encourage people to check it out if they want. It's fiverhythms.com. And then I had a teacher come from Toronto to offer a workshop on that here in Fredericton. So that was an amazing, amazing experience. And then I spent some time in Hawaii at a yoga retreat center where they offered ecstatic dance every Sunday morning. And it was a form of prayer and a form of meditation and connection. And it was offered down by the ocean. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful space. And so from that and my yoga experience and just my personal connection to nature and to the moon, I began to offer different styles of dance, but very much rooted in that idea of freedom and expression and a non-judgmental space. There's often a theme like the elements or the moon, but really a space to just honor where you are and let your body move that, whatever it is that day or that night.
Beautiful. Oh, hearing you talk about Hawaii with the dancing on the beach, I'm like, oh, my soul.
I know, right?
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
So amazing. Oh my gosh. Such a beautiful way of describing the dance experience as well, how it's so much more connecting and a freedom of expression in different ways. So what does a class look like for someone that would be new going to a class? What can they expect? Like, do they need to bring anything? What's it like at the beginning, middle, and end? What they can expect from a class?
Sure. So they don't need to bring anything except I suggest a water bottle, but often there's water on site wherever we are. Um, they do, of course, need to bring a willingness and an openness to, discovering what comes up when they move in this way. And I find for some it's nerve-wracking. They're a little anxious at first, but once we get started, most people, it feels really natural to them and they kind of find their groove easily. We usually start off with a little warm-up space, and that's a space to just arrive, to get used to the actual physical space, but then check in with yourself. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice if there's a particular intention you'd like for your class or for your dance, if there's a meditation you'd like to do, or a way you'd like to move your body to physically warm up before we start. And then we typically gather in a circle and talk a bit about our theme. And then the music goes on and we start moving. So we usually start a little gentle, a little slow, and we build slowly and gently up to a peak, and then we slowly come back down again.
Beautiful. Yeah, I had you were at the house for the retreat there, and we did the elements dance.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I remember I was crying at the end.
I forgot about that. That was so beautiful doing that outside.
Oh my gosh, I remember it was like so joyful during it, and then at the end with like just all the expression of the chakras and things, and then having the gratitude. I was like crying. I'm like, I felt so good, and I love you, Natalie.
Yeah, so I sort of
so wonderful.
Yeah, I sort of like to weave in whatever's sort of intuitively feeling appropriate for who's there. So if it's talking about the chakras, or if it's talking about, a particular emotion I've noticed a lot of people working on, or belief, and it comes together on the dance floor. It comes out on the dance floor. It's really interesting how it happens.
So what are some experiences that you've had during dancing? Do you find like there's times that maybe there's an area in your body that you've been holding on to something, and then after dancing you're like, oh, it's gone, like out of body experience, thank God I did that. I feel like that happens to me a lot in life, and I'm like, holy, like
For sure. I mean, there's been many, so it's hard to pinpoint one. But what I will say is that this dancing and movement, it's working with the body's wisdom. So sure, we can have an intention that we're going to move through something in our dance, but really it's going to come from the inside. So your body's going to show you what it's holding on to, what it might be ready to let go of. And if you keep moving and keep allowing it, it goes, it starts to flow. It's really easy to get caught up in the story of that feeling, that tension, that emotion. But again, if you keep moving, it's more your body doing the thinking or the feeling than it is your brain. So it's a really beautiful experience.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. And how did you first find yoga? And I know you do Reiki as well. How were you first introduced to kind of this alternative way of healing and offerings?
Oh, I was working in restaurants and bars, and I was very much a part of that lifestyle, out late, drinking lots, and
yes,
not necessarily taking great care of my body. And then it came to a point where I recognized that it wasn't working for me anymore. I wasn't feeling happy. My body wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling good in my body. So I first turned towards healthier eating. And then I have a background in gymnastics when I was a kid. So I was really drawn to yoga and that form of movement. And it just felt so right in my body to move that way again, like all parts of your body being challenged and being grounded and flowing. I was usually attracted to the vinyasa, the flow type of yoga, for that more sort of dance feel. I know that now. I didn't know that then.
Yeah, you just knew something was happening and it was good and you wanted to keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for being here, for listening to the Heart Healing Show, for following along on YouTube, the Lady Now YouTube channel. If you want even more support and community, you can find me as well on Facebook at Lady Now. And I have a free group called the Heart Conscious Collective. There you will find other individuals that are there to support and uplift each other. It's also where I share all my services, all my free content. Subscribe, leave a review on the Heart Healing Show and on the YouTube channel at Lady Now. It really drives me to continue to make more free content and allows for deeper connection and conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, totally. And then it felt really natural to open up to the more energetic practices like Reiki and like emotional freedom technique and TRE, trauma releasing exercises. So I have lots of different avenues to which I connect to spirit or connect to my body wisdom. And it always shows up. It's always there. It's really amazing how you can connect to it.
Awesome. So growing up, were you introduced in any other way to these different alternatives of healing? Because I know like in my background, I wasn't, only in the sense that like my grandmother's extremely intuitive and like psychic. So I had like that kind of aspect when I was growing up, that there is this different way of communicating and feeling things. But like we didn't have yoga, and I didn't know what acupuncture was, and I didn't know what Reiki was. I didn't learn that until like years later when I moved to Halifax. So in your background though, was there anyone in your family that kind of opened that door, or is it something you just found on your own?
Yeah, no, it was me.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like I actually had for a while, and in my description, from meat and potatoes to plants and
Yeah, totally. Totally, I so get that. My stepdad is very much a creative guy. I mean, my mom always encouraged healthy eating, but in terms of alternative ways of feeling well and of being healthy, no, there wasn't really any of that in my family. It was just sort of a knowing that there was more than going to the doctor and getting a prescription, and there was more than doing the 9 to 5 every day and being completely unhappy. So like just following that. And I'm not saying everyone's unhappy with the 9 to 5. I knew in me it didn't bring up the happiness and the joy I wanted to experience in my life.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
That's great. So what does a day in your life look like now-ish? It doesn't have to be like every day, but just a day in general. Because I mean, when people like ask someone this question, they're like, I do this in the morning and I do this, and I'm like, every day? I don't think so. Like just things that it's like you try to get nature in during the week, like just some things that like that's really good for your well-being that you make time to do, whether it's a daily or weekly basis.
Sure. So the things that I find keep me connected to myself and to spirit and keep me feeling happy and healthy are things like journaling is huge for me, especially when I feel like I have a particular emotion that's kind of nagging at me. Mm-hmm. I find journaling is really helpful for that. Definitely meditation, yoga, and dance. I'd say there's probably much more dance in my life these days than yoga. But nature is definitely, and it always has been, even since I was a teenager. We lived close to Odell Park, and I remember if I was feeling down or if something, not great has happened, I would feel drawn to the woods, and I would go there to walk and to be and it would help me feel better. So I still have that. Yeah, I still have that, and so I try to get out into nature as much as possible. I admit it's a little harder in the winter for me, but yes. But I still do my best. I definitely love walks in the woods. I definitely love looking at the moon, noticing its cycle, noticing how that corresponds to how I'm feeling in my body and in my womb cycle, my menstrual cycle, how it affects me emotionally. And I'm definitely a sun person. Like I love the beach and I love all that. But this time of year, I love, I'm like a cat. I just want to be in that sun spot inside and just feel that warmth on me.
Makes me like get in my bones.
Yeah, yeah. And I could stay there and journal or read a book, and I really enjoy downtime like that. Yeah, music's definitely important too, and yeah, it's. I really enjoy being able to follow my flow. So what feels right for me now, and can I do that now?
That's something that I feel like you could like write a book on or teach a whole class on, just about like how to follow your flow. Because people are so scheduled or feel like they need to be doing certain things in order to be living like a certain way or to fit into society. But really being able to just follow your flow and intuition is just such a totally different way of living that's actually more miraculous in like a loving way for people. And yeah, that's why like I love having these conversations because I don't feel like it's talked about enough. Like you get like little bits of it. If you go to a yoga class, your teacher might say something, or if you like put yourself in a workshop, or if you read a book. But to really like integrate that actual lifestyle is so different and so freeing and rewarding.
It really is. And I love how you said that, miraculous and loving ways, because I think when you are able to slow down enough and to follow your flow enough, you start to notice these little miracles of life, like things that we otherwise might just brush off and say we don't have time for, but just these little things like, a little bit of nature that shows up in your life, or a little sign from your guides or your support group or whatever it may be, these little tiny miracles throughout life. I think it's really important to notice those.
Definitely. How do you find your emotions are affected when there's the moon or something going on in astrology or in the atmosphere? And when you feel that happening, what do you do to rebalance?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I know, because I'm like, I think I'm always trying to figure out what's the best way to come back.
Well, I don't know if it's like this for everyone, but I know for me, like, even if there's times when I'm not following astrology, if I go back and look at the astrology for that time, it's often, oh my God, that's what I was going through.
Yes.
Or, oh my God, that's what I'm working through, So it's I definitely find myself affected by it. I don't know a whole lot about astrology, but from what I read, it's super powerful and amazing. The moons for me, I find it can vary. Sometimes the new moon for me will really bring up things that are just kind of on the surface. And I try to remember they're on the surface because they're ready to move, right? They're not there to kind of torture me.
Oh, I know. It's just like, it must have been so full of rage.
Totally. Totally, yeah.
Oh,
and then sometimes it's the full moon. So, I think it's easy for people to say, and it's becoming more of a common thing now for people to say, oh, it's just the full moon. Or, oh, it's just, whatever's going on in the stars. But they might not realize like that there's such a strong connection there. It's not tangible. We can't see it, but we can definitely feel it for sure. So when those things come up, I try to give myself time and space. Again, journaling, moving, being in nature.
Did you know that I also offer Reiki treatments in person and distance, so you can get Reiki anywhere in the world? I've also started offering Reiki level 1 and level 2 online trainings. Again, these can be done one-on-one, or you can grab a group of your friends and we can do an exclusive certification session together. I also offer alternative and integrative healing and coaching sessions, psychic readings, coaching, and so much more. Head to ladynow.com/services, or you can check out all the services on the Facebook page.
I practice emotional freedom technique, EFT.
Oh,
I find that's
nice.
if an emotion's feeling kind of stuck, I find that's helpful. But a big thing for me is just honoring the emotion, being okay with it being there, and allowing myself to feel it. I think that is the most powerful tool I have.
Oh, Natalie, can that be your quote?
Sure.
Just feeling it. I think that's the most powerful tool I have. Like, that is like, can you make a bumper sticker and I will buy it for my car?
I would love to, Julianne.
That was so good. I'm like, yes, let's just all absorb that quote. That was so good, Natalie. That really is our most powerful tool. That is what I'm going to name this episode. Thank you, Natalie.
Yes. Wonderful.
That was really powerful. I loved that.
Yeah, good.
That's
Good.
awesome. So if anyone wanted to do this dance class with you, are they in person? Are you offering them online? How can people follow you, see what you're up to, maybe speak with you further or attend the class?
Sure. So at the moment, we don't have planned classes for Fredericton, but that is arriving in the future. So if someone wanted to stay connected about that, they could find me on my website, which is natalierachelbrewer.com. They could email me at natalierachelbrewer@gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Fredericton Dance Community. Or they could text me, 506-449-5380. I love texts.
Yay!
Yeah. And one thing I am offering, though, for the month of February is an online course. It's called Dancing Your Moon Cycle. And it does involve dance, but it also involves a deeper exploration of this connection to the moon, the connection to our wombs and our menstrual cycles, the connection to the feminine rhythms of life. So this would really be following your flow. You know, life or society wants us to go 180 straight line through.
Yes.
Whereas this course is really about noticing in your body, when is the time that I feel I need to pull back a little bit and be inwards and be with myself? And when is the time in my cycle that I feel I'm really ready to be out there and I'm really ready to be productive and creative? And then when you honor those, I find there's less burnout, there's less fatigue, your menstrual symptoms tend to improve. I'm not making promises. I'm offering what has come through for me.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I find when we connect to the feminine in us and to the nature in us, we also connect to our power. And I think that's huge right now. It seems to be a pivotal moment in which women are connecting with these natural rhythms and connecting with their power, connecting with their creativity, and finding their voice. That seems to be really big right now. So that's a lot of what this course is about. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh, finding your voice. Yes.
Yeah. So if they're interested in joining me for that course, it's on Facebook under Dancing Your Moon Cycle online play shop, but also again, Fredericton Dance Community, Facebook, Instagram, or my website, natalierachelbrewer.com.
Amazing. Do you have any final words of wisdom or thoughts or info that you would like to share?
creativity and talent in you is all right there. And there are so many ways to connect with that. And I hope you find the one that works for you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you. That was fun.